And record. So welcome everybody. My name is Michelle Lorenz. So thank you for joining us this Thursday afternoon to talk to you about this amazing opportunity we have with World Global Network. I am out here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona, where it's about 107 degrees and no humidity today. So I want to tell you a little bit about my background, and I'm going to start this out. We'll go through the webinar, and then at the very end, Beth is going to jump on as well. So you guys, I am the hugest convert you're ever going to find. I have never done network marketing ever before in my life. In fact, not only did I not ever participate, I'd only bought one product from anybody in the past. And when people would ask me that epic network marketing question, hey, are you in love with your job? Are you open to making money? I would always tell them, I love my job. I love my job, and don't bother me. And in fact, the person that sponsored me here, Joanne Cox, I told her that if she asked me about one more network marketing opportunity, she was going to jeopardize our friendship. But she persisted. And so let me tell you a little bit about my background, and I'll tell you how I got involved. I have been handling litigation for crane and rigging companies for about the past 20 years. I went to law school, worked for some insurance defense firms for a while, and then found my love, honestly, in the crane and rigging industry. Love working with the forensic engineers, lawyers from around the country. It's fascinating being able to put some physics together with my legal background, right? And so that's been my passion. I love my crane and rigging guys. They're blue collar guys with white collar incomes. They're still down to earth. It's been a really amazing, rewarding career. And my last position was as an executive with a large insurance carrier. And so if anybody asked me if I loved my job, I would absolutely say 1,000%. So the fact that I'm sitting here with you today not only surprises me, but it surprises a whole lot of people that have been working with me for the past 20 years. So how did I get involved? Kind of a crazy story. So Joanne, my sponsor in Australia, is a friend. We all breed Alaska Malamutes together with Jen Ramaski up in Canada. And she contacted me in January, and she showed me the 3-minute video. And I told her, wow, it looks like a really cool product, but I'm not interested, Joe. You know I don't do network marketing. And then she called me again in March, and she said, I really need a favor. I know you're not interested in this opportunity. I know. But will you do me a favor? I need a warm body to sit on a webinar so the webinar doesn't get canceled. And it was a webinar just like this. And then I told her yes. And then she told me the clincher is that it was at 1 o'clock in the morning, Phoenix time, right? And so I got on the call as a favor to her, and Seville Co., who is our upline, was the one that was doing the presentation. And I have to tell you, Seville blew me away. I fell in love with the product. And in about 45 minutes, Seville dispelled a whole lot of myths that I had about network marketing, both as the industry as well as the people that were doing it. I got off the call at 2 in the morning, and I called Joanne and I said, okay, I'm coming on board. I'm buying the product, but don't bother me about selling it. I need my space. And so for the next 2 months, you guys, I did research. So for those of you that don't come from the legal world, I approached this like I would a plaintiff's expert trying to impeach a plaintiff's expert. I had a yellow legal pad sitting on my kitchen counter, right? And I wrote down all the things that Seville said and all the things the company said and everything that I thought for sure I was going to be able to impeach, going to be able to cross-examine it. And for those of you that don't come from the legal world, what we do is we write down all the things they say when we get ready for trial, and then we try to find the evidence to either support or refute each of those allegations. And so that's exactly the way I approached this. So from March 2nd, when I signed up, until May 10th, I did nothing but research. So I put my lawyer hat on, and I kept asking myself, what does the evidence say? What does the evidence say? What does the evidence say? And it surprised me, because not only did the evidence convince me to do this opportunity, I was all in. So not only was I all in, but I've gotten a whole bunch of my other friends from all white-collar professionals, right? People that have never done network marketing before, people that were skeptics like me. A lot of them, you guys, I have about 165 people on my team in the last couple of months, and almost all of them are people just like me who were rookies at this. And I'm going to show you this webinar and tell you why we all were blown away with this opportunity, and hopefully you'll agree as well. So hold on 1 second while I share the screen and we'll get going. Oh. And welcome, whoever just joined us. Everybody is on mute, so I apologize for that. And Okay, folks, so what we start with every time we do a webinar is this income disclosure. It's required by the Federal Trade Commission here in the United States. And it's even more important for us because we have a whole bunch of people in our company who are breaking industry records and their own personal records. So in our income disclosure reads, practicality dictates that everyone's results will vary as we're all unique and different. Basically, it takes hard work to make a substantial income in this business. Some people will make no money at all. The earnings of a World Global Network partner will be 100% dependent upon their own skills, work effort, commitment, leadership capabilities, and market conditions. Common sense would suggest that, as in most opportunities, one would find exceptional individuals performing well above the average, while others perform under the average. World Global Network doesn't make any guarantee of level of any income or your success. To see the full income disclosure, you can check out our website at www.worldgn.com. So folks, today our company is World Global Network. We are a 6-year-old company, but the product that we sell, the HELO, the product that probably bought all of you that is called, we've been selling that for less than a year. It came out last summer in Asia, and it got brought to the United States late in September. And so we had almost no footprint at all in all of North America or the EU, and certainly none in Canada until our own Jen Ramaski kicked off Canada at the beginning of this year. So we are super excited to talk to you, and I'm going to go over a couple different things in the webinar today. We'll talk about the HELO for sure and all of the amazing features that the HELO has. We'll go over the people in our team, the leadership people both in the company and on our team. We'll talk about the uniqueness of the timing right now, and we'll close up talking about the compensation system. And then if anybody has any questions at the end, we can ask questions then. So you guys, I'm going to start with this slide, and it's a quote from Bill Gates, and it's so relevant to me because this was one of the things that made me go, So Bill Gates says the secret of success in business is detecting where the world's going to go and make sure you get there first. So what I love about this, you guys, is our HELO, this piece of wearable technology, is the only piece of wearable tech in the whole entire network marketing space and the only piece of wearable tech in all of retail that does what it does. And we are so blessed to have landed on this opportunity. And so, you know, I jokingly tell people that there's 3 words that I can tell you right now, and I could turn off the slideshow, and those 3 words are, we beat Apple. If you let that sink in, you guys, we beat Apple. We're going to beat them to the market with all of these features that we have in our HELO. So our CEO had the vision, along with some of our executive team, to go find out where the world was going to go in wearable tech and to get there first. So those of you on this call, make sure you take a picture or a screenshot of this slide. It's one of the most important slides, and it's certainly one of them that convinced me and made me stop and pause when I was talking on that webinar that night with Seville. So let's go over this. You see over in the bottom left corner, the Wall Street Journal said back in 2008, the Fitbit came out. And you can see how the sales grew over that period of time. And by 2016, they thought they were going to be up to 111 million devices. Actually, that estimate ended up being a little bit low. You can see in the middle Forbes, where you've got all 4 of these circles. Forbes actually tracked the actual results from 2016, and it was 123 million pieces of wearable technology. And they're saying by 2020, which is just 2.5 years from now, that number's going to go up to 411 million. So when I heard Seville talk about this, I sat up. I thought, wow, what industry it went back in my mind, what industry do I know that's been around for 8 years and still going to triple in growth over the next 4 years after that? And I couldn't think of one. So that gave me significant pause. And I go back to my legal pad, I'm thinking, that's a pretty impressive growth for the industry. You know, one of the things that was so important to me about this slide, you guys, is that this wasn't what World Global was saying. This wasn't what Seville was saying, not the people who invited you to this call. You know, one of the tenets that people who practice law abide by is you don't just listen to what the witness says. You go out and you find the physical evidence. You find the circumstantial evidence. You find the documentary evidence. You find the evidence to either corroborate or refute what the witness is going to say, right? So that's what I did with this opportunity, as I went to look to see what the outside evidence, what the third-party evidence was going to say. And you also see there in the middle that the industry in 2016 was valued at 14 billion with a B. And that number, you guys, is going up to $34 billion, 20 billion in growth in 4 years. So again, I thought, okay, I got to go put that on my legal pad, and I need to go talk to my friends who have backgrounds in finance, because I don't have my MBA, but I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head that was going to experience that kind of growth. And what I did know is that 20 billion in growth, I looked at insurance carriers I'd worked with, crane and rigging companies that I'd worked with. I thought about all of those different industries, and I could not remember a single industry that I had been involved in that was going to experience 20 billion in growth over 4 years after it was already an 8-year-old industry. So that was really powerful for me. And then you see in the top right corner, there's a quote from Business Insider about the end of the smartphone. And that made me actually go and look into Big Business Insider. You guys, if you Google Business Insider and wearable tech, you will find dozens and dozens of articles. And they talk about the growth in the wearable tech industry and how it's going to explode. They corroborate some of the stuff that Wall Street Journal and Forbes said. But what I found really fascinating is they said, yeah, wearable tech's going to grow. Maybe they're not as optimistic as the Forbes number, but where they said the biggest growth was going to be was in the wearable tech that caters to the healthcare community. And whichever company that was that got in on the ground floor of that growth in the wearable tech catered to healthcare, they were going to see skyrocketing explosive growth. In fact, the numbers that they put up were 2.5 million pieces of wearable tech right now. Some of those are like chest bands that measure your heart rate, or a blood pressure cuff a mobile blood pressure cuff. And they said there's only about 2.5 million right now in the market. That number they said was going to go up to 97 million by the end of 2021. So it didn't matter if I looked just at wearable tech or if I looked at wearable tech catering to the healthcare community. Both consistently said there was going to be explosive growth in this particular industry. And then one of the other things, you guys, that I did is I went and looked in some of the investor articles, right? I found a report from Goldman Sachs, found another report from PricewaterhouseCoopers now. Found a report from both of them, and they talked again about the explosive growth in this industry. So now I've got Forbes, I've got Wall Street Journal, I've got Time, I've got Business Insider. I have 2 of the biggest accounting firms in the country, and all of them are talking about the explosive growth in this industry. And then I also found, I love TED Talks. I don't know, I'm a geek. I'm kind of a nerd at heart. And so I went and listened to TED Talks, and I stumbled upon some articles from some physicians talking to other physicians. And this was super powerful for me because this was back in about 2011, 2012. It was before HELO came out. It was before World Global Network was involved in this technology space, right? And what these physicians were saying is that technology and wearable tech was going to change healthcare. And one of the physicians said healthcare is going to become self-care. And the reason for that was going to be because people were going to be able to monitor what was going on inside their bodies. It was going to be like a check engine light, right? So that we would be able to know what was happening inside our bodies and could work with our physicians for that. Those things were really, really powerful for me. And guess what, you guys? All of that data I just told you about, all of that was before the HELO came out. Now let's look at what happened after the HELO came out. You remember that number I told you about on the prior slide, 411 million devices they wanted to have sold by 2020. Our CEO only wanted 3% of that market share. That was our goal. So about a month and a half ago at our Thailand, our first international conference, they released our data, and we have already sold 500,000 HELOs, and you guys, that secures 5.3% market share. So I got this text, I think I actually got it from Jen Romaski saying, oh my gosh, look at these results. It was about 5 a.m. Phoenix time. I literally sat up in bed and went, are you kidding me? And I immediately started texting and calling all of my friends with people that had their own crane companies. I called people with their CPAs and their MBAs and people that had private equity money behind them, people that knew money, because this wasn't my world. My world's the law. And I said to them, you guys, well, first I asked my crane guys, hey, what's your market share in the country? And nobody has 5% market share in the country. And then I said, well, what about in your state? What about Texas? What about Oregon? And very few of them even had 5% in their state. And then I said, well, what about in your city? Like in Dallas, what's your market share in Dallas? And a few had 5% or over 5% in their own little cities. And I said, how long did it take you to get there? And it was, 5 years, 10 years. It was a long time. And so I said to them and to my friends that were in the finance world, what company do you know that released a product, launched a brand new product and got over 5% market share in its first year of business? And they couldn't come up with any. And what was even more impressive to me and to them is, remember, we did this without advertising dollars. We did this without big box store sales, no Walmarts, no Costco's, no Amazons, no Best Buys, right? And then I just told you at the beginning that our company, we're almost brand new in North America. So we did this with almost no footprint in North America, no footprint in Canada, and almost no footprint in the EU. So how did this company achieve 5.3% market share? something must be different about this product. And in fact, you guys, when I talk to my friends about this slide and these results, lots and lots of my business associates, this was the first thing that was a game changer for them and made them say, you know what, I think I want to be involved. And the other really cool thing about this slide, you guys, is you see that we're only behind Garmin and Samsung right now. And if we stay on pace for our forecast, we will be number 2 by the end of the year. We will have sold 1.5 million devices. So we're super excited about our future because of that. So let's talk about why we see this crazy growth. You guys, you probably got told by the person that invited you that our device, our HELO, is like a Fitbit on steroids. It does all the stuff a Fitbit does, but we aren't a fitness tracker. The HELO is actually to monitor your bioparameters, right? It does what a Fitbit does with steps and heart rate and calorie, and those are great, but it also monitors blood pressure. It monitors and does a 2-lead EKG for you. And then in addition to that, we have this amazing little button. If you see it over here on the side of the HELO, it's a panic button that you push. As a single woman, I got to tell you, I love that feature. I can push that button if I'm afraid. It sends a GPS alert to my 3 people on my list, my brother, my father, and a friend. And it tells them not only that I need help, but gives them my GPS location. I love that. We've had a lot of female realtors that love that, college students, and people that have put that on their kids or people that work late at night, you know, bartenders and such. The other feature I love, you see listed there, it's called the Guardian function. So I adore this because I have a 78-year-old father who lives out here in Sun City. We've got lots of retirees here in Phoenix. And in his community, he's still pretty hip and active, right? He goes walking, he goes dancing, hangs out with his girlfriend at 78. But I programmed into his HELO what his high safe reading and his low safe reading would be for both his heart rate and his Guardian and his blood pressure. We talked to his doctors about those. And every time his heart rate or blood pressure goes outside those parameters, it lets me know. So even though he doesn't live with me, I can still monitor him. And that same panic button I told you about, if he falls and breaks his hip and can't get to a phone, he can push that and it alerts my brother and his girlfriend and I all to come check on him. So we love those features, you guys. There's nobody else in the segment right now that does any of that. And that's all amazing, right? This is some of the things that those doctors on the TED Talks were talking about. And let me tell you one of the things that one of those physicians said that I loved. So I mentioned to you that they said this is like a check engine light for your body. But the other quote that he had that just resonated with me is he said, in the past, healthcare, it's been intermittent and reactive. That means it was intermittent because you go to your doctor for this little 15-minute window of time for an annual checkup, or it was reactive because you had a cold and you went to see him. Well, now in the future, because of wearable tech, doctors are going to be able to monitor what's going on inside your body 365 days a year, 24/7, right? And he said because of that, instead of being intermittent and reactive, healthcare was now going to become continuous and proactive. And he said that was going to change the way physicians were able to help their patients. In fact, I found an article in that 2 months of research looking for third-party verification. I found an article from a magazine called CIO.org, which is Chief Information Officers. They're the executive team that monitors all the IT for companies. And one of those articles talked about the fact that there's going to be 10,000 times the data for physicians to evaluate when they have their patients' data. And they were worried about where are we going to store all this, right? Because they're the ones responsible for the databases. And then there was another really, really amazing article, and it was from a Stanford geneticist. And this geneticist was doing testing, and he's on faculty at Stanford. So for anybody outside the country or outside North America, one of the best medical schools in all of the world. He's on faculty there, and he was doing a test, a study, and he had 8 different biosensors around his body, you know, like the chest strap we talked about. And they had a whole bunch of people participating in the study. He flew overseas. He noticed his oxygenation level went down. He kept track of that, but he also noticed his vital signs were changing. So when he got back home, he went to see his physician, and lo and behold, his physician diagnosed that he had Lyme's disease before he was symptomatic. That's a perfect illustration of how healthcare is now going to be proactive instead of waiting until you have a disease or a virus. So let's talk about, I just told you what we do now, but let me tell you about where we're going in the future. We just had about 2 months ago, we opened up our API, and I didn't know what an open API was 2 months ago. Well, what that is it means we've brought app developers in to help us develop apps for our HELO. So we've got a whole bunch of apps coming out I'm going to tell you about in a second on the next slide. But the reason this is so cool, you guys, is if you think back to when the iPhone came out, The iPhone wasn't a real great phone. It actually had poor reception, lost calls all the time. But the thing that distinguished that first iPhone way back in the mid-2000s was the fact that it had an app store, and all of us went clamoring to get the iPhone because we wanted those apps, right? And that's what allowed the iPhone to take over the market segment. And we are the only piece of wearable tech that is going to have our own app store. We have about 300 app developers working on apps right now. The other reason this is really cool, you guys, those app developers get paid. So if you have any friends that are in the software world, I have a person on my team who has her own software company. She's going to be working on developing some apps for us as well. And they get paid 30% of any of the app revenue that's generated for them. So it's a wonderful opportunity if you've got any white collar friends, right? Any people in the IT space that have that expertise. But here's the other really, really cool thing, you guys, is as distributors, we are also going to benefit off of that. And I'll tell you about that when we get back to the compensation side. But the other thing about the Open API that's really cool for any of you that work for big corporations or know anybody that runs corporate wellness programs is an Open API basically means the people in charge of those corporate wellness programs are going to be able to develop their own dashboards to integrate with our product as well. Now let's talk about these apps because these are game changers for us. So I'll start at the bottom. You see that we have a mosquito deterrent. It's going to be like the radio frequencies that you put up on your patios for those of you that have big mosquito problems. We don't have a huge bunch of those down here in Arizona in the desert. But I know when I went to law school in Wisconsin, I was shocked at the size of the state bird that you guys have up there in Minneapolis and Madison and places up there in the Midwest. So huge, huge, huge feature. It's a game changer for places that have a lot of mosquito-borne viruses in continents like down in Africa, right? And then on top of it, here's a great story. My forensic engineer that I've worked with for about 15 years now, he's got his master's in engineering. He does all of these really cool CSI Miami type of reconstructions of these crane accidents. And I never would have approached him because I thought there's no way he would have been interested in doing this. And he called me up one day and asked me, are you really leaving the crane and rigging industry? And are you doing what I think you're doing? And that was the voicemail message. So I called him back and I said, hey, I am. Listen to me for 15 minutes. And if you don't want to hear about it after that, you won't hear about it. And I got part of the way through my presentation and he said, stop, I'm in. And I said, well, but I haven't even shown you the video yet. What do you mean you're in that? And he said, that mosquito deterrent, I love it. I'm a duck hunter. You know I'm a duck hunter. Every duck hunter in the world would love that mosquito deterrent. So it was a really good lesson for me that don't assume somebody might not be interested because there's something in this HELO and these apps that we have for everyone. You can see some of the other stuff we're going to do. We're going to have pulse diagnostics, so pulse oxygen, blood temperature. And I mentioned before we had a GPS tracker. Well, this GPS tracking app that's coming out is going to be a little bit different. The one that's in our device now, you push the button, the user pushes the button, and it sends a GPS location. We also have in development the opposite end of that, where if you are a parent or somebody taking care of a senior citizen, you can download the GPS tracking app into your phone. It will enable you to track the person who is wearing the HELO. So a great feature for us here in Arizona. We've got lots and lots of retirees here. So a wonderful feature for them or for your kids as well, right? We have a couple of other really cool things for the women on the call. We have an ovulation function that's going to be tracked with your wearable technology. We also have an app in development to detect the flu virus before you're symptomatic. So a lot like that Lyme's disease that Stanford physician had detected. And then the two that I'm most excited about are the first two you see on the list there, alcohol monitoring and blood glucose. So let's talk about the alcohol monitoring first. We have a visionary CEO. He went out and negotiated an exclusive license with a company called Giner Labs, G-I-N-E-R. Giner holds the patent, and they have been using this technology called transdermal alcohol sensor, TAS. They've been using that sensor in all of their devices that they sell to probation and parole departments. So it's proven technology already. They've been using it in the criminal justice system around the United States. But we have the exclusive license to use it in our consumer product. No other consumer product is going to be able to use it, and that should be coming out soon. So that's great. Pair that up with the Guardian feature, right, that I mentioned to you a couple slides ago. You can monitor your college-age kids about their alcohol consumption and send an Uber or go pick them up if they've had too much to drink. It's great for people like me that just go out and maybe have a glass of wine every occasionally and want to know what their BAC level is before they get into a car and drive. But you guys, what we believe is going to be the game changer is the blood glucose testing. So in the future, you are not going to have to prick your finger to test your blood sugar level. You're going to be able to measure your blood sugar level with the HELO. And how does that work? It's actually going to be measured based upon the sweat that's emitted from your body, both the alcohol monitoring and the blood glucose monitoring by your sweat. And we're super excited about that. You guys, right now in the United States, 1 in 8 people are diabetic. Around the world, that number is 1 in 11. And there's over 30 million people that are pre-diabetic, and the doctors think that number may even be low. But even for people like me that don't have a problem with my blood sugar, what an amazing way to be able to monitor and self-regulate. Because remember, I told you those doctors said healthcare is going to become self-care. So think about it. Somebody that goes out and drinks a Coke, you're going to be able to see immediately what that Coke does to your blood sugar level. Or if you have orange juice and toast for breakfast instead of protein, it's going to help you regulate your own diet. So amazing, amazing feature. And in fact, we have the number 1 distributor here in the United States is a gentleman by the name of Chad Chong. And he said a couple weeks ago in a presentation that if just one out of 100 people that currently pricks their finger decides to buy the HELO, it's going to generate $1.2 billion in revenue annually. Think about that. That feature has made the people in the healthcare community giddy. One of my best friends from childhood is a nurse. She works in the senior services category. She's been an entrepreneur her whole life. She's in the top 5% of income earners. And she joined me on this ride. And we've got a ton of nurses and nurse practitioners and physician's assistants and people who own assisted living facilities all on our team because they see all of the amazing features and that this is going to help them monitor their senior citizens that are staying in their houses, right? So you guys, we also have in our HELOs, we have germanium stones. They're little tiny, you can see them on the left-hand side there in our hand. You put them inside of your HELO and they help with blood circulation and inflammation. Here's a picture for you of some of our colored bands that come with the HELO. If you decide to get involved, each of the HELO kits comes with these sets of colored bands, maybe light blue, burgundy, kind of a lilac-y pink, and then the other one's a fuchsia. And then we also, just as an aside, have a limited edition set that was just released that you can purchase as well. It's got a white band, a gray, tan, kind of a bright yellow, and then a bright lime green. So you guys, this slide I'm going to spend a little bit of time on because it's one of the things that I was most intrigued by when I got involved and Seville was talking that night. You see in the top right, we've got a picture of Toshiba. You're like, why do you have a picture of Toshiba? Well, because Toshiba's partnered with us in the HELO, and that picture is actually from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. It happens every year. It's the largest consumer electronics show in the world, and Toshiba had a big booth there, and they featured the HELO, our product, there at their booth. And you're going to see in a little bit when I show you our stock, what happened to our stock when this came out in January. So you guys, you know, as somebody that gave up my career to do this, the career I loved, I wanted to know that this product worked, that it was reliable, that I could believe in it, and that I wasn't going to lose my credibility. Because remember, I was a woman working in the crane and rigging industry, and not for nothing, but it took a while to convince all those guys that I could do the job and protect them. I wasn't going to risk my credibility with all of my business associates with a product that I didn't believe was reliable. And so the fact that Toshiba not only supplies all of the brains inside the HELO, they supply us 125 megahertz Apple-like processor, but they let us use their name, right, in our advertising on this slide, for example. But that mattered to me because, you guys, Toshiba, they got a lot to lose. In fact, they tried to buy this technology from our CEO, and he wouldn't sell it to them. And they did all of their due diligence with their lawyers and accountants and engineers, and we wouldn't sell it. But they decided to partner up with us. And, you know, that never in the history of network marketing has a Fortune 500 tech company teamed up with a network marketing company. Wow, you guys, success, that leaves clues. That was huge for me because I knew Toshiba had a whole lot more to lose if this product wasn't legitimate than Michelle Lorenz did, right? So that was a big, huge check on that yellow legal pad that I had sitting on my counter. The other thing that I really found intriguing was at the time, we had been featured on 3 different Fox News stations, kind of as their new tech gadgets coming out for 2017. And I thought that was pretty impressive that it was not just 1 station, but 3. But you guys, just recently, about 3 weeks ago now, we were actually featured on NBC on the Today Show. So you can Google Carson Daly and the HELO, and you will see a whole bunch of us jumping up and down for joy. We were so proud of the fact that we were featured as one of the products on the Today Show. And then a couple days after that, down in Florida, there was a CBS news station that did a feature on a young boy whose parents put a HELO on him, and they were monitoring his heart rate, his blood pressure from the HELO. He was disabled, and that gave them a whole lot of comfort. So that's CBS News, you guys, the Walter Cronkite trusted news station of all. They featured us, and then just about a week after that, we were featured down in New Zealand in their media as well. So you guys, that even though I was already part of the company, man, that was also powerful for me. I couldn't think of a time that I had seen a network marketing company featured over and over and over and over on major news stations all across the US. That was powerful. And then you see over on the left, the thing that we're super, super proud of and super excited about is there's a magazine called businessforhome.org. So write that down because I'm going to refer you to that a little bit later. But in businessforhome.org, it's a magazine that tracks all of the network marketing community. There's 10,000 network marketing companies around the world, and all of them are kind of followed in this magazine. There was just recently a vote, and the HELO LX, our second generation HELO, was voted as the best product in all of direct sales. Super proud of that, you guys. So you guys, the HELO isn't our only product. We have there what we call BioZen chips, and you can look and see that itty bitty little triangle on the back of the cell phone that she's holding there. It's a little sticker that you stick on the back of your, all of your electronic devices, a router, a computer, your laptop, your cell phone certainly, or baby monitors, right? And you guys, this device, I found an article, again, I do my third-party research, right? So I found an article in salon.com that had synthesized a lot of studies from around the world. So if you Google salon.com and EMF, you'll find this article. And they talk about the different types of exposure and studies from Israel and other countries around the world. In fact, there was a quote from a Swedish, he was a neuro-oncologist, so a Swedish brain cancer specialist. And he said, right now in the world, you're undergoing the largest involuntary experiment ever because of cell phones. We don't know what it's going to do to people's brains and their bodies 10, 20, 30 years from now. And so, you guys, we have a BioZen chip that inhibits the electrosmog that is emitted from all of those devices. We're very, very proud of that. And as you can see on this next slide, we also are going to be coming out with a cell phone, probably sometime in 2018. This is called an Infolio phone. Our company, originally, the 6-year-old company, we started out in the cell phone space, but when our CEO saw the opportunity in wearable tech, he pivoted on a dime, right? Pivoted on a dime and refocused his energy on wearable tech. But we're going to be coming out with this Infolio soon. And as you can see on the back, there is a green dot on the back, and that's a BioZen shield, you guys. That BioZen shield is going to be the only cell phone in the whole entire cell phone market. So just like the HELO is the first piece of wearable tech that does what it does, we are also going to be the first one in the cell phone space that has an EMF shield or an electrosmog shield in the back of our cell phone. And the thing that I love is it actually has 4 days of battery life. So in addition to being safer, it's also going to help us stay online with our 4 days of battery life. So I've mentioned to you our leadership. Now, let me tell you a little bit about them. So one of the things that was super, super important to me, you know, I am where I am in my professional career because I learned from amazing, amazing mentors. I learned how to be a trial lawyer from great trial lawyers. I learned crane and riggings from forensic crane specialists. I sat in cranes with my clients and learned that, right? And I learned how the insurance industry worked from amazing insurance brokers. And so I knew that if I was going to leave all of those guys that I loved working with, that I wanted to be following a proven leader. I didn't want somebody who had this great idea on Shark Tank, right? Loved the show, but didn't want to give up my career to follow somebody who was an unproven person in this space. So I did a whole lot of research into the CV and resume of our CEO. So you can see what his CV, some of the highlights of it here. He was the founder of one of the largest ISPs, internet service providers in all of Europe, the second largest in Italy. He was one of the first people to introduce touchscreen LED screens into the market. He had one of the first voice over internet platforms, and that's what we're using right now is voice over internet, right? So all of this stuff blew me away. I love that. But I did some of my own research into a little bit of other things that he did, and this is some of the stuff that persuaded me. So, you know, guys, I don't know if any of you have read the documentary on Warren Buffett or read his books and autobiography or biographies about him. But one of the things Warren Buffett is known for is he goes out and acquires other companies that are really successful in their niche market. And he subsumes those companies into his own and then lets them do what they do. So our CEO did that. He went out and acquired a company called HEKA, H-E-K-A. HEKA is a medical devices company out of Italy. He acquired that company, and HEKA is going to be the medical division within World Global Network. We're so, so proud of that they're going to work on getting the FDA approval for the device. They're going to integrate with physicians and doctors and healthcare providers once that FDA approval is acquired. So blew me away that he had the vision to do that concurrently with having our consumer device on the marketplace. The other thing that I really loved about him, and I have to tell you, probably one of my biggest frustrations is corporate America, is it moves so slow. Drove me crazy. I love that our CEO has been nimble and responsive to the people who have asked for things out in the field. So how did he do that? When we first brought the product to the United States, they said, hey, you know, Americans, we're like an instant gratification society. We need a customer service center. We need a customer distribution center here in the States. We don't want to wait for 2 or 3 or 4 months to get our product. So we did. We put both of those in Utah. The other thing that I liked is, you guys, every company is going to have hiccups. Every company is going to have great successes, and they're going to have growing pains. And when the first HELO came out, it was 35 megahertz. He saw that he needed a stronger brain, right? He needed a stronger processor in it. So instantly, again, he pivoted on a dime. He's nimble. And he said to Toshiba, we need a stronger processor. And we came out with the HELO LX. I love that about him, because one of the things that I know is you can measure somebody's vision, and that will tell you a little bit about their leadership. But how somebody withstands storms or challenges or issues, that's going to tell you a lot as well. And every time our CEO has had those issues, he's been responsive to the people in the field and done everything he can to fix it immediately. And you know why he can do that, you guys? Because we're debt-free as well. So he doesn't have to worry about whether we have the credit to go out and do that. That all blew me away. The other thing I loved about our CEO is that he doesn't have an ego, right? He also followed the Warren Buffett model on going out and finding people who were the experts in their industry and letting them do what they do. So the first one he did this with is Alessandro Senatore. He is the genius behind our comp plan. He's our COO, and I'm going to tell you about that comp plan in a bit. The other person is Antonio De Rosa, and we all love and adore Antonio De Rosa. He has a storied history. You can see there he's won awards at that same Consumer Electronics Show where Toshiba was featured. But here's what's cool about him. He's kind of the Doogie Howser. He was designing video games back when he was in high school. He's a creative genius. And he worked at, yes, Apple. So he was a concept designer at Apple, involved in the designs of the iPhone 5, 6, and 7, as well as the smartwatch. Our CEO knew that he was an expert in technology with that almost 25 years of tech experience, but he wasn't an expert in wearable tech. And so what did he do is he went out and found somebody who was, Antonio De Rosa. And we are so, so excited that he's joined our company. So you guys, you see here, one of the other things that was important for me is that we had a good reputation in the network marketing world. And remember, I was a rookie. I had no clue what was good, bad, or indifferent. So I had to go out and do research. So in the insurance world, we have a rating system called AM Best, and it makes sure the insurance companies are stable and they're not going to go bankrupt. Well, we have a similar rating system here in network marketing. It's handled by the DSA, the Direct Selling Association, and you can see that World Global Network, we have a triple A plus rating. There's over 10,000 companies in network marketing. Less than 100 have a triple A plus rating. So that, to me, gave me a lot more comfort and yet another checklist on my legal pad. So you guys, this slide, I was awestruck when I looked at this. First of all, again, the legal background that I had, I wanted to know that this company was transparent. I've worked for lots of companies in the past that were privately held, and they started playing funny games with their financial statements, right? And I left there because of that. And so I wanted to know that this network marketing company was transparent and that we were going to be able to see their financials. So we are publicly traded. That means we have to file our financial statements, our audited financial statements, with the Securities and Exchange Commission here in the US. That was really, really important to me, again, knowing that this company was doing it the right way. The other thing that was really impressive, though, is that we were publicly traded, and I went and looked at the stock. So our ticker is WRMT. Right now, we're on an over-the-counter stock, right? And you can see there on that slide, when we came to the Consumer Electronics Show earlier this year, the stock skyrocketed from below $1 a share all the way up to over $20 a share. And then for the last month and a half, you guys, it's been hovering between $20 and $24 a share. That is an 800% increase. So again, remember when I told you about that 5.3% market share, and I couldn't think of a company that had that kind of crazy growth? The same thing happened when I looked at the stock. It's really, really hard to find a company that experienced 800% growth in 1 year. That told me a whole lot. The other thing that's really important about this slide, you guys, is I told you we're currently an over-the-counter stock. We're going to be moving to the NASDAQ. We plan to do that in 2018, and one of the people that just joined us is going to help us do that. And so if any of you on the phone here from the network marketing world, you might recognize a gentleman whose name is Keith Halls, Halls. Keith is a new member of our board of directors, and he is a legend. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer renown in the network marketing world. He was one of the original 7 founders of Nu Skin. He worked as their CFO and helped take them to the NASDAQ and turn them into a multi-billion-dollar company. And he just joined us. He spoke at our conference about 2 weeks ago in Sacramento, and he got up on stage and he said, you know, there was one legacy company that started network marketing, and it was Amway. And he said, I joined this company because I think World Global Network is going to be the next legacy company in network marketing. So you guys, again, I mentioned to you, I knew nothing about network marketing before I started, and I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie. I need a rookie symposium to educate me about what this industry has going on. But what I did know is I was smart enough to follow the people who did know network marketing. And Keith Halls, he knows network marketing. Success leaves clues, you guys, and that was one big clue to me when he said this is the company he wanted to join. So you see here on this slide, one of the things that I love about our company is that we are in 195 countries. So again, I didn't know this because I wasn't in network marketing, but it's really rare for a company to have maybe over a dozen countries that you're in, and some have even less than that. We are in 195 countries, everywhere except for North Korea. So you have the opportunity to grow your business and expand your footprint all around the world. So people that have maybe been in the military and you have contacts around the world, or people that are in manufacturing and you have contacts that you've worked with. My crane and rigging clients, we've got contacts over in Germany because there's lots of German manufacturers, and over in Asia as well. So it's a huge opportunity to expand your footprint anywhere you want around the world. And I'm going to talk to you, take this slide, you guys. I'm going to refer you back again to our income disclosure at the beginning where I said www.worldgn.com. And I'm going to talk to you about the people in our company. This slide is an excerpt of a magazine that I mentioned before, businessforhome.org. So write that down and you can go look this up for yourself. It's a third-party magazine that verifies both all of the trends in network marketing, all of those 10,000 companies. It documents that. And they also have a list of the top income earners in network marketing. So on the slide before, you saw our global master distributors, Nat and Shanita Puranaputra. They've been in the industry for over 30 years. They've made over $25 million in network marketing, according to Business for Home. So they are what I call first ballot Hall of Famers, right? They are legends in this industry. They've been incredibly successful over their career. Well, since they joined World Global Network, just in 13 months, you see their income level there. They're earning $1.2 million a month, not annually, but a month. And they're already, in 13 months, the number 4 income earners in the entire world of network marketing. That blew me away. Not only did it blow me away because of just the staggering number, but I also loved that it's a woman, right? It's Shanita. I loved that there was a professional woman, and she was the one that brought this to her husband and her children and her whole family, brought this opportunity to them. I love that a successful woman is leading our company. She is the number 1 distributor, our global master distributor. But the other thing about her and about this that is, I guess, even more impressive, if that's possible, is I did not realize this, but in network marketing, the fastest anybody has ever earned $1 million a month is a gentleman by the name of Holton Buggs, and he is a legend in of himself. He's incredibly successful, another first ballot Hall of Famer. It took him 5 years. 5 years to do what Nat and Shanita accomplished in 13 months. So you guys think of any record, if you're a swimmer, how long it takes to do the 4x butterfly or the medley, how long it takes to run the 100-yard dash. Think about the records in those and what it would be like if somebody cut that record and did it in 1/5 of the time. So the 4-minute mile, cut that down. Yeah, cut it down by 80%. Imagine, that's essentially what Nat and Shanita did. That blew me away. Not because of the numbers. The reason it blew me away is it told me there was something different. Remember I said success leaves clues? There's something different about this product, about this opportunity, about this timing, and about this industry of wearable tech, or all the other people would have been earning all this money in a year, just like Nat and Shanita did, and they haven't. So the other numbers on this chart, you guys, they're incredible and staggering as well. Nat and Shanita's daughter and son-in-law, Chad and Natita Chong, are here in the United States. They're the number 1 income earners in our company in the United States. They're based out of Los Angeles. They're in their 30s, and they're already earning $750,000 a month. And then you see on the list there, number 42, this man, I am just in awe of him. I have so much mad respect for him. His name's Ramasio Fulcher, and he is our team leader. You see the number, it's impressive, $263,000 a month. He's number 41 in the world, 42 in the world. He started last fall, right about the beginning of October, and he ranked up quicker than anybody else in this company, ranked up to double president, to double president, and then to president millionaire and double president millionaire quicker than anybody else in our entire company. what I love about him is the stuff that you don't see on this slide. And it's important that I tell you this is Ramasio, like he could walk away. He could walk away from the game right now. He's made plenty of money. But what I love about him is he's a servant leader. He's teaching us to do it. So you guys, it doesn't matter if Nat and Shanita and Chad and Natita, if they earn money, if they don't teach us how to do it. And remember, I told you I learned from the best in my prior career, right? I learned how to be the crane industry and a legal industry and the insurance industry. I learned that from the best. And what I knew is that, gosh, if you look around, like in sports, when people want to learn to be a great quarterback, they go and they learn from Peyton Manning's camp in the summer. Or here in Phoenix, we've got Larry Fitzgerald. He's an amazing wide receiver. All of the wide receivers in the NFL come in and work out with Larry Fitzgerald. Or for those of you in the Midwest, you remember Walter Payton. There was a legendary hill that Walter Payton used to run up every single day. And Walter Payton taught Jerry Rice how to run up the hill and train. So you guys, you learn from mentors. And if mentors can teach you to do what they did, then that's the blessing that gets passed on. And that's Ramasio's biggest gift. Yeah, he's amazing in and of himself, but he's teaching us to do what he does. And for that, I'm so grateful. And the results prove themselves. We have the fastest growing team in the company. We have the fastest growing leadership team. So not only is he helping people learn to do what he did, but he's teaching them how to be leaders. For both of those things, this man is epic and legendary, and I have just mad respect for him. So the other person I want to mention to you on this slide is you see number 133 there and number 195. So Jeremy Roma is not on our team. He's also another president millionaire, but you guys, he was an Uber driver last year at this time. An Uber driver. He was trying to earn extra money to pay for his daughter's college, and this year he's a president millionaire with our company. And then you see number 195 on the list. His name's Mike Sims. And Mike also enrolled a guy by the name of Steve Carter. And so for those of you in network marketing, this is another success leaves clues. Mike and Steve, I didn't know them before, but they are both 8-figure earners in their career in network marketing. They're 7-figure earners with their past companies. And again, I'm going to refer you back to the income disclosure, right, of www.worldgm.com. But you guys, Mike and Steve, they've been in the industry 15 and 22 years respectively. They've spoken at all of our industry conferences, at A&MP, at GoPro. They are amongst the who's who in network marketing. Not only did they both leave their existing jobs, right, their existing companies, they took their poker chips and they pushed them to the middle of the table and they walked away from their 7-figure salaries. You guys, think about this. Like, I made good money, and most of the people on my team, we didn't join this company because we needed to pay our bills. We joined because of the opportunity. But I got to tell you, I didn't walk away from 7 figures. And the fact that Mike and Steve did that, that was a big bright light for me, an aha moment. And then the other thing that was another aha moment is they joined Ramasio Fulcher's team. These guys are legends, right? It's kind of like, you know, somebody that was an MVP player joining Brady, right, and Belichick up in New England, or joining Steph Curry with the Warriors. They went and they joined Ramasio's team. They could have joined any team, but they chose his. And again, I didn't know network marketing, but I knew these two guys did. And when I saw them up on stage, classy, articulate, professional, intelligent people that were earning 7 figures a year, and they joined Moss, we call him Moss, that was another success leaves clues for me. And then you guys, there's one other person that I want to tell you about who's not on this list yet, but he will be soon, I'm sure. And that's our team leader. Their names are Seville and Rachel Coe. They are 31 and 27. They started right around Christmas time. And by April, they had already ranked up. They were the youngest president in our company, and they are now double presidents. They're amazing. They had almost no network marketing experience before. Seville was a personal trainer. Rachel was a flight attendant. And their story was really powerful for me because they had never made money in network marketing. And I needed to know if I was going to give up my career that I could follow somebody who hadn't made money before, because I knew all these other people on this chart had. And so Seville had been with one network marketing company, a great company, but he'd only ever made $500 a week in residual income. That was the most, and it was about 2 years ago. Fast forward to April, he was already, according to Business for Home, making $60,000 a month. And you guys think about this. He didn't change over the last 2 years. He was smart and articulate and a hard worker before. 3 things changed in that time. The HELO was a different product. Ramasio Fulcher was his leader. And wearable tech industry changed the game. And so again, $500 a month up to $60,000 a month. Game changer for me. You guys, we've talked about the company and how the company is breaking records all over, that we are, the HELO is the first piece of wearable tech in both network marketing, in the entire industry, And it's the only piece of wearable tech in all of the retail space that does what it does, you guys. Nobody else competes with us. Remember, I said we beat Apple. And part of that is because of this trend in wearable tech. It's kind of like being on the ground floor of Facebook and hanging out with Mark Zuckerberg in his dorm room at Harvard, or being friends with Steve Jobs, right? We haven't seen, I certainly in my professional career, as much as I loved it, I had never seen an opportunity in a trend like this where I could have gotten in on the ground floor of technology. And what I also thought about is the timing. So I told you that we're the first to market in network marketing. We're the first to market in retail that does what we do. But the other thing that mattered, you guys, I didn't know much about network marketing, but I knew that the people that got in early were the people that had the best opportunity to make money. And I just told you, we haven't even been in the United States a year yet. And so if you go back to that business for home and look up the other industries, look up the other companies in this industry and their top income earners, and you guys, what you're going to see is a lot of them, they've been around for a really, really, really long time with those companies. They were on the ground floor just like you have the opportunity now with World Global Network. You know, I mentioned to you this crazy, amazing team that we have. We talked about them on the prior pages. But you guys, one of the things that I love about network marketing that I never knew before is I love that we work as a team. Like, in case you can't tell, I'm a huge sports fan. And so I'm going to give you the analogy on the football field. You know, you can have the best running back in the NFL. You can have an Ezekiel Elliott. You can have a Walter Payton. You know, you can have a Barry Sims. Here's even a better example. Barry, right? He was arguably one of the best running backs in all of the NFL. But he doesn't have the stats and the numbers. Why? Because he didn't have an offensive line blocking for him. He didn't have the best quarterback in the game handing off to him. He didn't have a fullback that was blocking for him, a tight end that was a legendary tight end helping him, and even a couple of wide receivers that would lay down a block every once in a while. To get to the end zone, to be the best at what you do, you've got to work as a team, right? Here in network marketing, I only succeed if I help my team succeed. And that's so incredibly rewarding. You know, my sponsor is in Australia, and she's a single mom. She's going through a divorce, and she's trying to make it on her own. She's a graphic designer, and she's one of my dearest friends. I just adore her. The day she ranked up to double diamond, she called me in tears because she made more in a week than she had made in 2 months. And you guys, that's the thing that's so rewarding about this that I never had a clue about. And it's actually one of the things I love more than anything. I love watching my team be successful. I love watching them change their futures, change their lives, be optimistic about their bucket list again, right? It's so incredibly rewarding. And I can't even put into words what that means to me. So you guys, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our comp plan, and you're going to see why we are breaking those records and why it's so fun to help all the people that you love. So we have two different colored comp plans. We have one that's called the blue plan and one that's a red plan. The blue plan is for North America, the EU, and parts of Asia, and all of the rest of the world is on the red plan. And we have these, you guys. You can look these up. You can get copies of them from the people that invited you, or you can go to cnworldgn.com and you can see the blue plan and the red plan in writing there. But I'm going to go over the big highlights for you. So there's two things that I need to tell you about the plans. First, I want you to write down the 4 main ways we get compensated. There's a couple of other really great bonuses and stuff, but there's 4 main ways that I want to go over with you. And they tie into our 5 different main ranks. So the 4 ways we get paid, I'll summarize them and then we'll go into detail. And the 5 ranks. Let's talk about our ranks first. Our first rank is team builder. The second one's team developer. Then it's diamond, which is what I am right now. Then we have president and president millionaire. And then our ranks and your compensation tie to some of those levels. So our 4 ranks our 4 ways to compensation: 10% fast start bonus, just straight 10% commission. The second one is team volume commission. The third one is our generational commission. And the fourth one is a loyalty bonus. So let's go into those in detail so that you can keep track of these. So you guys, when you come on board with World Global Network, you can come on board one of 3 ways. You can come in as a customer referral program. You can be a customer only, and we have tons and tons of people that do that because our product is so amazing. Or you can team that up and be a customer and be involved in the customer referral program. So you guys, these are the package that you can come on board with. You see over there on the left is a package, the personal pack for $349, and that comes with 1 HELO, 1 set of those colored bands we showed you earlier, and then some of those germanium stones for your HELO. That's $349. Or we have a family bundle, right? It's $1,349, and both this and the premium pack, they have the same thing in them, it's just in different quantities. So the family pack is 4 HELOs, 4 sets of colored bands, 4 germanium, the germanium stones for your 4 HELOs, and then you also get 4 BioZen packs. Or the premium pack is all of those same things except for it's 6. You can see the savings in the premium pack is $1,175, and in the family pack it's $696. Or you guys, we actually, for anybody that wants to put BioZen on all of their devices all throughout their house, we have a package of BioZen that you can get for $1,350, and you get 38 different BioZen chips to put in there. So I want you to pay attention to this because your compensation and which pack you decide to start with will affect your compensation. So as I mentioned first, the first way we compensate you, you see that there, you get 10% off of anything you sell. So if you sell the family pack, you get $135 commission. If you sell the premium pack, you get $1,900. At $19.99, you get $200 commission, okay? The second way we pay people is once you become a team builder. And so what is a team builder? You see in the picture there, a team builder is when you enroll one person on your right and one person on your left, and your compensation is going to vary depending on which of those packs in the prior slide you bought. So if you come in at the $13.49 pack or above, you get 20% of your team commission. If you come in at the $3.49 pack, you only get 10% of your team commission. And this was hard for me at first because I'd never done network marketing. So let me explain this a little bit. Your first way to get paid is 10% straight off of anything you personally sell, okay? The second way is you get paid off of your team commission. So what does that mean? We are a binary structure. Binary means 2. So think of a ladder, and the ladder has rungs on the ladder, right? So on each of those rungs, you sign up one person on your right or your left. The team commission is all of the volume, all of the team volume that everybody on all of those rungs of the ladder generates in that pay cycle. Our pay cycle here is a 1-week cycle typically, and so you would get 20% of all of the revenue generated by the team below you if you come in at the $13.49 pack, 10% if you come in at the $3.49 pack, okay? And you guys, before I go further, the other thing that's really important to mention about this is unlike other network marketing companies, we don't requalify it for rank. We don't demote people. You don't have to sell 2 packages every single pay cycle or risk losing your rank. Once you're a team builder with our company, you're always a team builder. You don't have to requalify for rank every single pay cycle. I didn't know this, but again, very, very unique in the world of network marketing. The next slide, you guys, this is our next major rank. It's our second rank, and it's team developer. So what is a team developer? I just told you we have one person on the right and the left to be a team builder. Once you help those 2 people get 2 people, you become a team developer. And this is one of our critical ranks within our company, and I'm going to show you why on the next slide. But before I go there, let's just talk about a couple of other quick things. When you rank up to diamond, the next rank you get, if you do it 4 cycles in a row, you get $1,000 a month car bonus. We have a bunch of great trips and other things that are associated with it, including millionaire pools if you rank up to millionaire. But let's talk about about the generational compensation and how it affects you. Once you're a team developer, you're entitled to this generational compensation. Again, didn't know this, but our compensation at the generational level is very unique in network marketing. Many companies only offer a couple of generations below you. Our company offers up to 10% and up to 10 generations. So how does this work? You see over here on the left of this chart, the people that are silver, gold, and platinum, that means they are team developers, and you can see the amount of sales volume here in the first row. Once you are a team developer, you automatically get 10% of any of the sales from your first generation. So what does this mean? If you think about a great-grandparent, a grandparent, a parent, and a child, the great-grandparents generation 1, the grandparents 2, the parents are generation 3, and the child are generation 4. So for example, Jen Romansky, who's on this call, she's on our team. Jen signed up, my friend in Australia. That's her first generation. I am her second generation. My friend Charlene is her third generation. So Jen gets 10% off of anything Joanne sells down in Australia. She gets 5% off of anything that I sell here in the States, and 5% off of Charlene, because Jen is already a grand diamond. So as you can see, the higher you move up in rank, the deeper you drop down into generational compensation. So it's real straightforward. Generation 1, you get 10%. Generations 2 through 7, you get 5%. And then to get up to generations 8, 9, and 10 at 1%, you have to be double president millionaires, and you can see that right here on the chart. We're really, really proud of that. This is Alessandro Senatore's genius. I mentioned to him earlier to you. And then this slide, you guys, this is a really interesting slide for a couple reasons. So first of all, the fourth way you get compensated is over here on the right. And this is you get 1% of the team volume commission. It kind of works like a corporate profit sharing program or a 401k. The company takes 1% of your team volume every pay cycle, and they put it into a lockbox. And if you stay active with our company over a year, you then get a bonus at the end of the year. Whole bunch of reasons I love this. I told you about that insurance carrier that I used to work at. Last year, on my evaluation, my CEO had told me that if I recovered $5 million in subrogation money for them, that I would get a bonus. And that bonus was going to be about 25% of my salary, which would have been a little bit less than 1%. End of the year came, the company lost money. And so he sent out an email that said, nobody's going to get a bonus and nobody's getting raises. And so I went to them privately and I said, I get overall that's not happening, but I got my contract right here. This is my evaluation. And you told me I was going to get this bonus. And he said, you're an executive, you're a vice president, Michelle, you have to take one for the team. And I said, but we would have lost $5 million more had I not gotten you that money. And I'm asking you for less than 1% of that. And he said, no, you got to take one for the team. And I actually said, yeah, actually I don't. I gave my notice. And that is why I was free to start working with this company, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm really excited. This fourth way of compensating us, I get paid, I get my bonus. If I put my time in, I work hard, I bust my hump like I did for him, I'm going to get my 1% bonus and nobody's going to take it from me. But there's also a lot of really other amazing things that come with a loyalty plan. You get your cloud storage space for up to 5 people. That lets you track them. It lets you do the 3 people on the Guardian function. You get 2 free replacement devices a year if your dog chews your HELO or you drop it into water. Jen and I have to worry about that Malamute puppy thing chewing our HELOs. You also get some loyalty points. In the future, we're going to have loyalty points in our back office that you can use to buy the Infolio or Biozen or anything else. So all of that, you guys, you end up getting more loyalty points than you pay on a monthly basis. This is our monthly overhead. It's only $59 a month. So let me tell you what's impressed my white collar friends, my business associates. When I asked them, I said, hey, you guys, what did it cost you to start your company? What did it cost you to start your insurance brokerage? Or more importantly, what did it cost you to start your crane company? And that, in the United States, the average is about $65,000 in startup cost. For my insurance friends and especially my crane clients, that was several $1 million worth of LOC. And then I said to them, hey, what's your monthly overhead? And for my crane guys, obviously that's huge. But even for a friend that runs an insurance brokerage, it's got less than 10 employees, his monthly overhead's $103,000. So when I've talked to my friends in the business world and I've said, hey, where do you have an opportunity to make a great living for less than $2,000 in startup cost and $60 a month in overhead? And they are all awestruck. So that 5.3% market share, the stock, the fact that we're publicly traded, and this data, $2,000 startup costs and less than $60 a month overhead, that's what made a whole bunch of people, myself and a whole bunch of my white collar friends, go, we're too smart to pass on this opportunity. So you guys, how do you stay active? We just mentioned that with the loyalty plan. It's really simple. You either buy 30 points of sales volume or you sell it, depending on whether you're on the red plan or the blue plan, and the person that invited you here can get you involved in that. Real easy to do. You see pictures here of our grand president millionaires, Nat and Shanita, as well as some of our other president millionaires. Ramacio's on there, Mike Sims, and Jeremy Relma, all of whom I spoke to you about earlier. And here you see some of the cars that they awarded. We used to have a luxury car plan, and they got Lamborghini Aventadors about a month and a half ago out in Beverly Hills. We don't have this anymore, but you guys, we have something better. Are you ready? Drum roll, everybody. We have our own luxury jet program. So you guys, we are the only company in the entire world of network marketing that has our own corporate jet program. So what do you have to do this? All you have to do is rank up to President Millionaire one time in a 52-week pay cycle. And then for that whole next year, you get unlimited use of a private jet to travel around. You see the continents and countries there, US, Europe, Russia, and the Middle East. For those of you in Australia or other parts around the world, we also have travel vouchers if this doesn't cover you. But you guys, I love this because obviously, like, we were all super excited. This is great. We get a reward. If we rank up to President Millionaire, we get to fly in a corporate jet. That was fun. That was great. But what I loved about it was, once again, it showed the visionary perspective of our CEO, because we're in 195 countries, right? What better way to help your leaders expand your company's footprint all around the world than to give them a corporate jet to fly there to build their business? So I loved it because it's a great reward, but even more so because it's one more piece of evidence. Because remember, I kept asking, what does the evidence say? This is one more piece of evidence that our CEO had a visionary perspective on growing this company. So you guys, we're almost done. We've got 2 more slides. The competition, we've told you we have nobody else in network marketing or the retail space. I love that we don't have a joining fee. So unlike, a lot of network marketing companies, you've got to plop down $5,000 or $10,000 to play the game. It's like a country club fee. So we don't have that. Here, you buy your product, and you're a distributor. If that's what you want to be. If you buy your product, you want to be a customer, that's fine too, but no joining fee. You don't requalify for team builder or team developer. Once you're there for life. We don't demote you as long as you stay active with our company. We've got the loyalty bonus we talked about, the 195 countries, the check match, 10%, up to 10%, up to 10 generations. But a couple of the other things that I wanted to mention is we also have an amazing retention rate. So most network marketing companies, hovers somewhere around 10%. Our retention rate right now of distributors is above 75%. We're really, really proud of that. When people join this company and decide to be involved, they stay involved because there's some great opportunities, great training. But the other thing that I loved, and probably would not have done this, you guys, had this not been the case, you don't have to call your friends every month and say, hey, do you want more vitamins? Do you want more makeup? Do you want more protein powder? When you buy your HELO, they buy it once, and it's just like going to Target or Walgreens or any other place to buy something you want, and you don't have to ship it out. The company ships it out of Utah, and you don't have a whole room full of perishable products that you're keeping in your garage or your spare bedroom or clothes, right? It's wonderful that they take care of all of that for us, and we don't have to continue to follow up with all of our existing friends and customers asking if they want to buy yet another HELO, right? Loved all of that. So you guys, you see here, this is the last slide, and it's the slide, I got to tell you, my biggest regret with this company is that I didn't get involved earlier. I told you I had an opportunity to do that on January 5th, and I didn't. I passed it up. And then I had an opportunity to buy in, and I did. I bought in on March 2nd, but I didn't do anything for almost 2.5 months. And so there's a whole lot of people that signed up between me and January 5th when I had the chance to join and when I actually became active, which was the week of May 10th. And so my only regret with this company is that I didn't get my belief and I didn't start sooner, because what I did for those 2.5 months, you guys, it was really important. It was important for me to believe in this company and this product. And I'm hoping that because I've done all that research and I've been able to give you guys a glimpse of what that third-party validation looked like, that I've been able to show you what the evidence says. And I've been able to show you that why so many smart business professionals have joined me on this journey. They jumped on board and they've joined right away. They didn't spend the 2.5 months that I waited. So you guys, we started with our income disclosure. I'm going to remind you, any of the questions that you have, again, to refer you back to worldgn.com, and you can go check out our income disclosure there. And I'm going to take you back to the full screen, and I will, if anybody has any questions, anybody have any quick questions, I'm going to unmute you, but it gets really loud, and then Beth, I'm going to find you and unmute you as well. And hold on one second, Beth, a lot of people jumped on the call here, so I'm going to start with Beth. There we go. And Beth, I am handing this over to you in just a second here. And the only thing I want to say, you guys, before Beth takes over is, you know, our symbol, the thing we talk about is we call this World Changers. And I'm so incredibly blessed that Joanne didn't give up on me and that she didn't say, I'm not going to ask her one more time, because without her, I wouldn't be in this company. And I'm so grateful that I'm a world changer. And I hope that you guys want to join us too. And Beth, I'm handing it over to you. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Oh my gosh, Michelle.
Beth, we can barely hear you.
I'm so grateful for you. Oh, let me see if I can turn it up.
Yep.
I'm having challenges. I have to go back to Toronto. Can you hear me?
Nah, barely. Gotta yell.
Okay, Mike's just gonna come. Okay, I'm gonna move in closer.
Oh, come on.
Mike's just gonna come on by phone, but oh my goodness, we are so grateful for you. I'm always looking for professional women. I gravitate to women that are bright and talented, and you're definitely one of those women. And I've been involved since the end of January. Can you hear me?
Not much. Got it. And we can hear you, but you're whispering.
I never whisper. I'm a cheerleader.
Okay, go for it.
So I've been involved since the end of January. I took 2 pages of notes. Like,
really
crazy. So case is closed. Just a second here. You've made the case, Michelle. I think everybody that's on this call tonight knows that they've made the right decision if they're in World, and if they're here as a guest, I'm sure they're going to get back to the person that brought them here to get started. So thank you so much, Michelle. You're awesome, and I love being related to you as a professional woman in the industry.
Yeah,
Thanks for
was
taking the
wonderful.
time.
Thanks for joining me, Beth. And Beth and I met each other for the first time in Vegas in Sacramento a couple weeks ago. So it's wonderful to actually share the screen with her now that I know, and we broke some bread together. So I love you, Mike and Beth. Thank you guys for joining us. Last call if anybody has any quick questions. Okay, no quick questions. You guys, thank you again. Beth and I appreciate you joining us. Have a wonderful Thursday night. We're world changers, y'all. Come join us.
Great job.
That would be
Great
awesome.
job.
Thank you.
Man, fabulous. Awesome.
Thank you,
Rockstar.
guys.
Rockstar.
Talk to y'all soon. Have a wonderful
Happy
day.
birthday, Rachel Olsen.
Hi.
See you in
Thank you.
Vegas.